Yeah, I think we must have been on social media together.
All right. Well, let's come to like, oh, I have a big daddy long legs. Hi. You're going to join us for yoga? Let's come to lying on our backs in constructive rest. So you can allow your feet to walk as wide as your mat. Allow your spine to relax onto the mat. Maybe you keep your arms at your sides, or if you want, you can bring your hands onto your belly. And just allow yourself to arrive in this present moment. And welcome everyone to yoga. I forgot to say that. Thanks so much for coming. So this year I've been theming all of my classes around the yamas and the niyamas, which are yoga's ethical practices. And so this being the first class of July 4th, we have a new theme. So today's theme is called Santosha, which means contentment. And the niyamas, this is the second niyama. Niyamas are a way to basically yoga's instructions on how we should interact with ourselves. So Santosha invites us into contentment by taking refuge in a calm center, opening our hearts in gratitude for what we have, and practicing non-seeking. The jewel of Santosha invites us into contentment by taking refuge in a calm center, opening our hearts in gratitude, and practicing the paradox of non-seeking. So often we are looking outward for fulfillment, and that will always disappoint us and keep contentment one step out of reach. So if this idea of contentment speaks to you, this niyama, you might bring that as an intention to your heart center. If there is another intention that you would like to set for your practice, you might bring that intention to mind. Maybe it's something you'd like to cultivate or even something you'd like to release. And then you can imagine that intention has a certain color. As you inhale, allow the color to brighten and radiate from the heart center, filling up your body and allowing your body to glow. And as you exhale, the color might deepen. Go ahead and take 2 more rounds of breath like this, inhaling to grow the color brighter and exhaling to allow the color to deepen. And throughout practice, if you find yourself planning for the future or contemplating the past, you might just invite your intention back to your mind's eye, releasing any of those thoughts of the future or the past. And then just allow yourself to release any thoughts coming into the present moment. And I always like to say at the beginning of class that this is your very own practice and you are your own best teacher. So feel free to modify anything that you need. And then with your feet as wide as your mat, let's go ahead and invite a little bit of movement in so you can allow the knees to float over to the left with the right knee coming down towards the left foot. Take a nice deep breath here. And then on your next inhale, float the knees back up to center and exhale, allow them to fall over to the right. You might begin to windshield wiper the knees slightly side to side and maybe turn your gaze in the opposite direction. Just feeling the movements as you gently windshield wiper the knees. Notice where you feel sensation in the body. And then the next time your knees come back to center, once you feel complete from left to right, if you'd like to involve the arms, you can press the palms up towards the sky and then bring the opposite hand onto the opposite elbow. So the right hand comes onto the left elbow, left hand comes onto the right elbow. And as your knees float over to the left this time, you can drag the elbows across the chest and reach them over towards the right. Inhale it back to center and exhale. Switch sides. The knees fall over to the right. The elbows drag across the chest towards the left. Go ahead and take a few more rounds, side to side. Breathing into any areas of tension or holding. When you feel complete from left to right, we'll release the arms, bringing the knees back up to center. And with the next inhale, you can float the palms up overhead, reach them up past the ears, stretching through the shoulders. And exhale to float them down, pressing them into the earth next to your hips. Go ahead and take 3 more rounds like this. Inhale to float the arms up overhead. And exhale to float them back down. The next time your hands land down at your sides, let's roll over to the left side. And you can prop your head up on your palm of your hand, or you can extend your hand long and allow your head to rest on your biceps. Either way, whatever feels best for you. Now your knees are at 90-degree angles and you can look down so that you can see the knees parallel with the body. What we're going to do is take the right knee and bring it on top in front of us. So place it down in front. And then you can reach back with your right hand and grasp hold maybe of your left foot that's behind you, and just allow your head to rest back and your shoulder to rest back, coming into a twist. If this twist isn't working for you, feel free to modify, finding any other variations that work best in your body. You might even cradle your head with your left hand. Maybe send your gaze slightly behind your right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath here. Noticing where in the body you feel sensations. And then with your next exhale, we'll release the foot. And now you can bring both knees to stack up. And we'll glue the heels together and begin to open and close the right knee for some clamshells. Feeling the strengthening of the outer right hip. And you can still feel free to cradle your head on your hand or allow your head to rest on your bicep. And when you're ready, we'll close down the knees, gluing the knees together. You can begin to lift and lower the right heel for a reverse clamshell. Noticing how the sensation changes in the body. And using the breath to find any areas of tension or holding. Sending breath there and releasing any tightness. And then we'll come back to stillness with the knees still stacked up. Let's allow the right shoulder to find the ground, and you can rest the arms out, forming a letter T shape. Maybe sending the gaze over towards the right fingertips. You might interlace the fingers behind the head, and if you'd like, you can pulse your nose up towards the sky, finding a little bit of strengthening in the obliques. When you're ready, you can release that movement, extending the arms out into a T shape, finding that gentle twist. And then when you're ready, we'll roll onto the back. And we're going to get ready to find the opposite side. So we'll roll onto the left side. And with the knees bent, you want the knees to be parallel with the earth. So your knees are at 90 degrees with your feet behind you. You can extend the left arm out, or sorry, the right arm out, and allow your head to rest on your biceps, or you could bend into the elbow and support your hand with your head with your hand. And then we'll bring the left knee down in front and then reach the left hand down and behind you, and you might grasp hold of the right foot. And then allow your shoulder to open up towards the left. And maybe you cradle your hand in with your head with your hand. And just find a little stretch here. I think they call this pose like cat chasing its tail. I've heard it said in yoga classes before. Maybe with your hand that's cradling your head, you want to find a little gentle massage at your base of your skull. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then with your next exhale, you can release the foot, bring the knees to stack, and this time we'll slide the knees slightly out in front to get ready for our clamshells. So you can glue the heels together and begin to lift and lower the left knee. Finding the strengthening in your outer hip, your glutes. Sending breath to the area of the hip. And then when you're ready, we'll close that down, gluing the knees together. Let's lift and lower the left heel. You can flex the toes towards the knee, activating the legs. And then when you're ready, we'll close that down and allow the left shoulder to open up, bringing the left shoulder to the ground, extending the arms into a letter T, coming into a twist. And if you'd like to do that oblique work on this side, you can interlace the hands behind your head and just begin to gently pulse the nose up towards the sky. After you feel complete on this side, you can relax and enjoy your twist. Opening the left arm up out to the left, you might send the gaze over the left shoulder towards the left fingertips. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll close down the left hand, bringing it over to meet the right. And you can press yourself up into a seat. We'll find a comfortable seated position. Sukhasana, maybe crossing the ankles. And you might decide to cross the opposite leg that you normally do, just finding a different shape. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Inhale, we reach. Exhale, draw the hands in. One more time like this. Inhale to reach. And this time, with your next exhale, let's twist to the right, bringing the left hand onto the right knee, placing the right hand behind us. And you can send the gaze over the right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath here, lengthening through the spine. And with your exhale, you might find that you can twist just ever so slightly more to the right. With your next exhale, allow just the chin to trace the front of the chest. And you can send the gaze over the left shoulder. Take a nice deep inhale. And then with your next exhale, you can release that twist. We'll inhale to bring the arms back up to center. And then exhale, twist it over to the left, bringing the right hand onto the left knee, placing the left hand behind you. And you can turn the gaze past the left shoulder. With your inhale, extending the spine long. And with your exhale, you might find a little bit more movement twisting to the left. With your next exhale, allow just your chin to trace the front of your chest, and you can turn the gaze past the right shoulder. Take another nice deep inhale here. And with your next exhale, you can release, bringing it back to center. And let's go ahead and reverse the cross of our ankles. And we'll just do a little bit for the neck. So with your next exhale, you can allow the right ear to fall towards the right shoulder. And you might begin to find a little bit of movement here, maybe gently nodding the head yes. And then gently shaking the head no. Maybe you bring your right hand up alongside your left neck and gently massage along the neck from the base of the skull down the side of the neck. And then when you're ready, you can bring that right hand, back onto your knee. We'll allow the chin to trace the front of the chest, sending the gaze down towards the navel. And then slowly rotating the left ear towards the left shoulder. Once you arrive here, you can allow your right shoulder to melt away from your right ear. And you might gently begin to find a little movement, shaking the head no. And then maybe nodding the head yes. And if it felt good to massage the side of the neck, you can bring the left hand up towards the right side of the neck and just gently give a little massage along the side of the neck, finding any areas of tension, smoothing it out with the breath, offering gratitude for your strong hands and the ability to give yourself this bit of self-care. When you're ready, you can release the hand back down onto your knee, and then we'll slide the chin back down towards the chest. And then inhale, you can lift the gaze back to center. Let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. So you can either roll over the tops of your shins or just slide your feet off to the side. We'll plant the palms underneath the hands, the palms underneath the shoulders. And you can either tuck the toes under or untuck them, whichever feels best for you. The knees are underneath the hips. And let's go ahead and inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart for cow pose. Exhale, round the spine for cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. After a few rounds, if you'd like to explore other movements, you might decide to trace a big circle with the belly button. And I forgot to mention that if this is a lot on the wrists, you can also come up onto fists to straighten through the wrists, or maybe even come onto forearms. Sometimes I like to give my wrists a little break. Feel free to explore any organic movements here. And if you're tracing a circle with the belly button, after your next round, you might reverse the direction. If you find that there are any places that feel particularly good, you might hold that position for a breath. We'll take one more nice big circle. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center. Let's bring the big toes to touch, open the knees up wide, sink the hips back, and walk the hands out in front for child's pose, allowing your forehead to melt down towards the earth. You could even stack the palms and make a little pillow to rest your forehead if it's not quite making it all the way down. If you need even more height, you can stack fists and make a little pillow to rest your forehead. Feel the support of the earth rise to meet you. And allow any tension in the back and on the shoulders to drip down, melting away, absorbing into the earth, just like water melting off of a duck's back. You might find a little side bend here, pushing yourself up and walking your hands over to the right, reaching your left arm long You could turn your gaze underneath your right armpit and allow the left temple to rest. Find the length along the left side and allow the breath to cascade down from the fingertips to the base of the hip like the wave of an ocean. With your next inhale, we'll walk it back to center and then begin to walk over to the left, reaching the right arm long, allowing the breath to cascade down the right side. You might turn your gaze under your left armpit and allow the right temple to rest on the mat. Notice that sensation of your temple resting, and you can feel if there's tension in the temple and allow it to gently release. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, you can come back to child's pose, bringing your hands through center. And then we'll meet up in tabletop. And from here, you can tuck the toes under and press the hips up and back for downward facing dog. A variation on this would be to come into dolphin pose. If you're finding that's too hard on the wrists, you can come onto the forearms and then lift the knees, tucking the toes under. So whichever pose feels right for you and your body, you might take a moment to sashay the hips a little side to side, pedaling the heels to walk out your dog. With your next inhale, you can go ahead and walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. And then exhale, coming into a forward fold. You might grasp opposite elbows and just allow yourself to ragdoll here, swaying a little side to side. You could shake your head no, releasing that which does not serve you. Or nod your head yes, inviting in new opportunities. With your next exhale, release your hands down towards the mat, and then we'll slide the hands up onto the shins and inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold, and then bend into the knees, and we'll inhale to roll up one vertebrae at a time, and inhale to sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Inhale to sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. One more time. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale to draw the hands to the heart center. With your next inhale, we'll sweep the arms up and exhale to forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. Let's plant the palms or walk the hands out in front. You can walk the feet back to downward facing dog. And then with your next inhale, we'll come forward to a plank. You can always lower onto your knees. Inhale back to downward facing dog. Exhale, coming forward to a plank. And one more time. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale to come forward to a plank. And let's all lower our knees down. And when you're ready, you can lower down onto your belly. We'll bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Plant the palms on your mat. And slide the heart through as you traction the hands back for Sphinx Pose. On your next inhale, you might slide your shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale, slide them back down the back. If that felt good, you might take 2 more rounds. Inhale to slide the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, allow them to slide back down the back. And one more time like this. And with your next exhale, let's stack the palms, reaching the elbows out to the sides, and then you can lower your head down onto the back of your palms for Crocodile Pose. One of my favorite yoga teachers, Emily Light, talked about this pose as a great remedy and medicine for anxiety. So I just bring that up now as a note for you for the future. If you're ever feeling anxious, maybe this could be a remedy. It allows the breath to change places in the body and fill the back body, our seat of self-care. With your next exhale, go ahead and slide your hands behind you with the palms facing up, and you can turn your gaze over to the left, allowing your right temple to rest on the mat. If it's hard for your temple to make it there, you could tuck your toes under and maybe slide your chest a little bit forward, pushing yourself a little forward so that your temple can reach down towards the mat. Allow yourself a moment to delight in this time of rest. And then with your next inhale, we'll lift the heart, bringing the gaze forward right off the edge of your mat, and then lift the arms and lift the legs, coming into a flying superhero or locust pose. On your next exhale, we'll turn the gaze to the right and allow all of your effort to melt down as you bring the left temple to rest on the mat. You might feel that nice stretch through the neck and allow yourself to relax all of your efforts. And then with your next inhale, we'll bring the palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and you can press up either through plank or table. And then we'll find downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. Maybe exhale through the mouth, sticking out the tongue for lion's breath. Let's walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet to come into forward fold. We'll inhale, sliding the hands up the shins for halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And then inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. Let's come to a wide-legged stance on our mat. So we'll come to the long edge with the feet parallel, or you can even slightly pigeon toe the toes in for a little bit more support. On your next inhale, reach the arms up side to side, coming into a 5-pointed star, extending in all directions. With your next exhale, you can bring the hands to interlace at the low back, or even grasp hold of the back of your shirt, or maybe even the opposite elbows or wrists. And then with your next exhale, we'll hinge forward from the hips, leading with the heart to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Maybe you leave your hands at your low back, or if it feels good, you could allow your hands to gently fall overhead. without forcing, just allowing the weight of gravity to gently stretch through the shoulders. On the next exhale, let's bring the hands back to the low back. You can release the fingers, allow them to cascade down the backs of the legs. And then we'll bring the hands onto the mat underneath the shoulders. Take a nice deep breath here. And then with your next exhale, you can plant the left palm underneath the face, and we'll inhale to swivel the right arm up towards the sky for a twist. Exhale, let's thread the hand underneath, reaching for the left foot, like thread the needle. And then inhale to open the right arm up, lifting the right fingertips towards the sky. One more time, exhale to release the hand down. And then inhale to sweep the right arm open. On the next exhale, you can release that hand back down. Planting the right hand now underneath the face. We'll inhale to swivel the left arm open. Exhale to release that hand down, maybe reaching across underneath towards the right foot. Inhale to sweep the left arm open. Exhale to release. And one more time, inhale, sweep the right arm open for a twist. And exhale to release it back down. Now let's bring the hands to the hips. You can bend into the knees and we'll lift through center, coming back to standing. Let's pivot the toes now. So they're coming out at 45 degrees. You can bend into the knees and bring the hands onto the knees for a goddess squat. From here, let's extend the right shoulder over towards the left knee, coming into a twist. Inhale back to center and exhale, bring the left shoulder over towards the right knee. Let's inhale back to center, and then we'll lift the torso, keeping ourselves into our goddess squat. You can inhale the arms out into cactus arms. You can either stay here, or with your next inhale, you might gently lift the right heel to hover. Exhale to lower it. Inhale to lift the left heel to hover. Exhale to lower. And feel free to lift both heels to hover for a little bit of balance. Sinking the seat a little bit down, and then lower both heels. We'll inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms up towards the sky. And then on your next exhale, let's come back into goddess, and you can stick out the tongue. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, we'll lift through center, straightening up towards the sky. Exhale, release into goddess and stick out the tongue. Let's do one more round. Inhale through center. Exhale. Let's inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. And then you can walk the feet back into center. And we'll come to the top of our mats. With your next inhale, float the arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And you can plant the palms and walk the feet back to either downward dog or child's pose. Take a nice deep breath in your downward facing dog. If you'd like to try doing a plank and coming onto the belly for a baby cobra, you're welcome to take that variation. And then in a few moments, we'll meet up in downward facing dog. When you're ready from your down dog, you can hop or walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, coming into a forward fold with a micro bend in the knees. Let's inhale for halfway lift, sliding the hands up onto the shins. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. For our balancing pose, I thought we would try eagle, and we can get into eagle in a lot of different ways. So the first thing we're going to do is stretch the arms out wide to the sides, and then bring the right hand on top of the left to give yourself a nice big hug. Wrap your hands onto your shoulders, and you might close down your eyes. Offer yourself gratitude and take a moment to revisit your intention for your practice. You can always leave your hands like this, or you can begin to wrap them around for eagle arms. From here, we'll begin to come into a chair, sinking the hips back, bending into the knees. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like to practice a little bit with balancing, you might just gently lift the left heel off of the mat, sending the weight into the right leg. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can lift the left leg up and wrap it around the right leg. Finding a soft gaze to practice balance. And it's okay to come in and out, noticing that balance is not a fixed place, but a movement, subtly through center. Whenever you're ready, we'll untwist, stepping the feet out wide, and then shake it off, leaving it in the past. Allow the arms to sway side to side, massaging the back and the kidneys. And then we'll come back to center and get ready for the second side. So you can come to your mountain pose. And then we'll extend the arms wide to the side and reach out to give a big hug to yourself, bringing this time the left arm over the top of the right. Take a nice deep breath, filling the back of the body, giving yourself a loving embrace. Send yourself gratitude once more for showing up for your practice this morning. You can stay right here with your arms in a hug, or you might try wrapping your arms into eagle arms. And then with the next exhale, bending into a chair. And remember that you can stay any place along this journey. You might try peeling your right heel off of the mat, sending the weight into your left leg. Maybe you explore balance by lifting that leg and wrapping it around your left leg. And just sense the movement of balance, allowing yourself to feel unsteady and still finding a rooted quality here. With the next inhale, we'll unwind our twist and step the feet wide and gently shake it off. And now we'll, with our feet as wide as your mat, you can have your heels on your mat and maybe your toes are at 45 degrees off to the side. Let's inhale the hands up to center. Exhale, draw the hands to heart center and begin to sink into your squat. You can stay in an umpire squat, or you might even release your hands to your mat and come into a deep yogi squat. Whatever feels best for you. It's okay. And with your next exhale, let's reach the right hand off to the side and stretch the left arm up and over and behind us. With your next exhale, let's switch that out, bringing the left hand off to the side, reaching the right arm up and over. And then on your next exhale, we'll bring both hands to the mat, press into the mat, and lift the hips for your forward fold. Let's walk the hands out in front, walk the feet behind us for downward facing dog. And then exhale, gently lower the knees down to the mat to come into tabletop. Now we'll walk the knees forward to come onto our seat. And you can bring the feet to touch the knees open wide. We'll extend the spine up long. And then with your next exhale, you can begin to hinge at the hips, maybe walking the hands forward with a flat back. And if it feels good, you could round forward as well. Take a nice deep breath here. And then with your next inhale, we'll press ourselves back up tall. You can bring your hands to your knees and gently press the knees together. And then we'll sweep the hands out in front and begin to make our way onto our backs. You can draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a gentle hug, maybe even bringing your nose up towards your knees. And then you can walk your hands down your legs to your ankles or your feet and find a happy baby pose. Drawing the knees towards the armpits, pressing the feet up towards the sky. And you could gently rock a little bit side to side. And you might playfully smile upon yourself warmly in this happy baby shape. On your next exhale, you can release the feet back down to the mat. We'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And then if you'd like, you can draw the shape into the body for figure 4. If you'd like more sensation on the outer left hip. Maybe interlacing the hands behind the right thigh. Sending some breath into the outer left hip. If you have a strap or an article of clothing that can sometimes give you more space, or you can even grasp hold of the outer edges of your right pant leg. We'll take a nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, you can release the feet back down to the mat. Let's switch sides, bringing the right ankle over the left thigh, allowing the right knee to gently fall away. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can draw the shape into the body and either interlace the hands behind the thigh, or you could even grasp hold of the outer edges of your hands. Just help draw the shape into the body if you'd like more sensation in that outer right hip. Take a nice deep breath here. We're going to be heading towards our final resting pose, Shavasana. So if there are any more shapes you'd like to take before your final rest, and feel free to cozy up with an article of clothing, a blanket. Maybe there's something you can drape over the eyes to block the light. And if you're not in a place that's comfortable, you can always relocate. Another fun option for Shavasana could be to put your legs up a tree. We have this nice tree here. If you wanted to find a tree space to rest your legs up, that would be fine, or whatever works for you. Maybe you come back into your constructive rest pose with your knees tented together and your feet as wide as the mat. Find whatever works for you and then allow yourself to settle in. If you'd like, you can take a moment to revisit your intention for your practice. And I'm just going to also offer another quote by Deborah Adele from her book, The Yamas and the Niyamas. Looking outward for fulfillment will always disappoint us and keep contentment one step out of reach. Our seeking and avoiding, tensing and gripping become expensive uses of our energy. True freedom and contentment begin to find their way to us when we can see things as they are, neutral, and not spend so much energy manipulating things according to our preferences. I am reminded of the wisdom of a 116-year-old man. When asked the secret to his longevity, he replied, "When it rains, I let it." For the next few moments, allow yourself to soften into the present moment. Feel the earth rise to support you. Allow yourself to feel the weight of gravity hugging you to the earth. You can allow all thoughts to drift by like graceful clouds. Allow your forehead to soften. Smooth out the creases of your eyelids. Release the hinge of your jaw. Allow your shoulders to melt down towards the ground. Give yourself this time of rest. Allowing all of the benefits of your practice to seep in. You can begin to deepen your breath. Maybe take a moment to revisit your intention for practice. Finding that intention seated at your heart center, you can come back to the color of your intention. And with the next 3 rounds of breath, allow that intention and that color to brighten with your inhale, glowing all around the body and the heart center, and then darken with your exhale. Imagine the heart center is growing in all directions, increasing your capacity to give and receive love from your heart. You can gently invite some movement now into your fingers and toes, gently rotating the wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, you can find a long body stretch, bringing the arms up overhead, stretching them past the ears. And if your legs are resting up the wall, you might find a fetal position. Whenever you're ready, you can roll onto one side and take a moment to rest in your fetal position for 2 more rounds of breath. And then whenever you're ready, you can gently use the strength of your arms to help press yourself up into a seat. Once you arrive at seated, we'll inhale to reach the arms up overhead, gathering in all of this wonderful positivity and drawing it to the heart center. You can bow your head towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to guide you through your practice this morning. Namaste. And thanks everyone for being here. I'm just going to say bye to my Zoomy.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.